Welcome back to Overtime, ladies and gentlemen. Week 1 of Rocket League. For Season 4 league play is in the books. It was crazy. In North America, we had some stuff happen that we kind of expected to have happen. Everything went about as planned. The big three went undefeated. The teams that we had questions about generally lost. But Europe was a completely different story. So many things happened, and we can take a look at how that all panned out there. 2 teams coming out 2-0. And moving forward, you can take a look at the standings. Look at that. Frontline and Method. Not the 2 teams I expected to see up there on the top. And RLCS Team Envy 0-1, Mocket 0-1. What is happening right now in Europe?
I am so happy right now to see all of this going on. Once again, for the 2nd season in a row, Europe blown open in week number 1. Frontline coming out with a 2-0 that not many people expected. Method also with a 2-0 that not many expected. But 2 very different teams as well with it. Frontline, a pickup team, just came together for the RLCS, was Method. Recognized that they just weren't getting the results they wanted last season. They stuck together, they grinded it out in multiple tournaments, the Universal Open, they went to DreamHacks, they played in Gfinity Elite Series. The grind works, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah, Method, we had them going up against RLCS for the first match of the day, and Frontline of the last match they went up against Mocket, and both of those would be kind of like we could see them taking the victory. I think what most of us expected Method to be RLCS, and for Mocket versus Frontline it was kind of up, but the 2 big games there were Method going up against Envy and getting a sweep, and Frontline going up against Gale Force eSports, and then 5 games getting the victory. And I want to start with Frontline here, okay? Because this is the team that everybody coming in the preseason. I was hot on them. I was like this. I liked Frontline a lot. I thought Farrah was awesome, and he was getting Bluey and Chaussette, 2 players that have been improving a lot, and Bluey, kind of the youngest player in the league. I was super excited to see these guys play, and some people were like, no, I don't think it'll work out. But here they are on the top of the leaderboard, tied for first right now.
I mean, I mostly just want to hear what Shogun has to say about it. I always enjoyed Bluey, and a lot of people, and especially that haven't followed the scene behind it, understand that he's been a competitor for a long time. Like, who's this guy? I don't understand. Yes, he's been competing for a long time, but still, that breakthrough, being able to show up that quickly is just amazing.
All right, so you want my opinion on them?
Yes.
I'm actually really happy with it as well. Chaussette did not have the best season last season. He kind of got called out a couple of times, got kicked off the team. Same thing for Farrah. Got dropped down for a Maestro who they thought would be better. Actually, originally dropped for Podex. They thought would be better. So I'm kind of happy to see these question mark players come together with another question mark of Bluey, come together and play so well. I think this opening week is very important as well because Bluey is temperamental.
Sure.
Is the nice way of putting about it. So they need these consistent performances to keep going on. That'll keep the team momentum up. That'll keep the team morale up. But it's got to be consistent all the time.
I think it's hilarious that Farrah gets dropped from the leftovers and then forms a new leftovers team with all these players that are left over, and here they are on the top again.
Yeah, I think that this Frontline team, I mean, Bluey, you mentioned it, he's been competing for a really long time. He was a part of that We Dem Babies roster that was with Scrub Kill. I forget who their third was. Was it Chaussette?
I can't
We
remember.
Dem Babies?
We Dem Babies.
Yeah, you remember We Dem Babies?
That was between season 2 and 3?
Yeah, but do you know?
I don't
This is
remember.
going to do my head in now.
Yeah.
It was Scrub Killer.
I think it was Scrub
Come
Killer
back
and
to
Bluey.
me.
Scrub
Come back
Killer,
to me.
Bluey, and
For some, my brain
boom, boom,
want to say
boom.
Flarky, but that's not right.
No, it's not Flucky because it was another. It was
Yeah,
someone else
super
that
young
couldn't
player.
play.
I think it was Chaussette.
It was not Chaussette.
So that could play by then.
Tell us in chat who it is, because we're definitely messing this
Either
one up
way,
here.
Bluey.
I think we spent
I'll
10
bring
minutes
this
trying to
to
figure
you
this out.
later on in the show.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. He's gonna figure it out. The funny thing is, I feel like Pashy is just doing a good job creating players that go on to be on championship teams and stuff. Because he had Devo, and then he has now Chaussette as well. Was a player that he was playing with, and now Chaussette's in a great position.
Violent Panda, yeah.
Violent Panda as well. He's doing a great
Players that
job
will be
creating players.
More successful without passion.
It's because they have to play with him, right? And
He's the gateway. Would you like to be good? Play with me first.
Yeah.
All right, I'll release you into the wild. My children.
Yeah, well, talking about moving on to talk about who's hot. I'm just it's a good transition because for me it's Frontline. I was hot on them beforehand, and I'm hot on them still. I can't wait to see them going. We saw Turbo Pulsa tweeting out after Gale Force dropped in 5 games. Turbo Pulsa on the Gale Force roster says Frontline's going to make top 2 this season. He's a believer. I'm a believer. We keep moving forward. What about you, Shogun?
Frontline, I mean, that was a fantastic series out of them. Both series going to Game 5. That was going to be the big question for them as well, is as a new team, could they come against more veteran squads and see whether or not they could hold their nerve? And once again, a rarity which is becoming more and more oftenly true during this season, the team that we're not expecting to have the experience and the nerve in those Game 5s coming out. Aeriality with the win against the Leftovers in our qualifying week as well, pulling it off. I don't know what's going on, but these guys are knowing how to play in those clutch situations.
Absolutely. What about you, Quinn?
Honestly, I just have to agree with him.
We got 3 for Frontline right now. Man, nobody else is hot on anybody.
I'm going to do that thing again where everyone's talked about Frontline, so I'll talk about another team. I think Method is, I mean, we already know, but just by their performance. But what Jogan mentioned, the grind that they put in, sticking together as a roster, not breaking out, not just assuming like, oh, we lost. Let's do something new. I think that's going to be huge for them. We see a couple teams in North America doing the same thing, G2 being one of them, knowing like, hey, Kronovi hasn't made LAN and we don't want to talk about how long. It's a time frame we just don't speak on. But I'm super stoked to watch them get more comfortable in the competitive scene because I think the pressure sometimes will build up for them.
Wait, I wanted to address the other team that I think we really needed to be talking about because they weren't here this week, but they're a huge team. They've always been a big team in Rocket League. Flipside Tactics did not play this week. They're a team that's been they've had their rough summer. They had a rough offseason, but it's a team that's always shown up in big fashion, and they're going to be back in week 2. Can't wait to see them play.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to change my answer to Flipside.
Okay.
And the reason why we haven't seen them play yet, the only thing we've seen them play with Mystic, like that's seriously a big tournament, has been the Dream Hacks, and we saw them very successful in one, and they had a second performance in Atlanta that was all right. But I think that this is a team that's really going to struggle with finding a solid third. And I think that Mystic's the right fit. I think they just need to really work and work and work on creating that synergy. I think it's just been a struggle for them to kind of move from being that dominating dynasty team to maybe one that's just not going to have such a stronghold over the competitive scene, right?
It's funny because I felt like we saw them having not the strongest season in Season 3, but they still came out as the European regional champions, correct?
Yeah,
Yes, they were. So, like, these guys still so big, so strong, and I'm excited to see them playing forward. But you brought up your team to watch was Method. We can't not talk about Method right now. These guys come out 2-0, sweeping the defending world champions of Envious. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That was if you say you predicted Method to sweep Envious, maybe win, but sweep? No, I don't believe you. That didn't happen.
Yeah, this was a fantastic series for them as well. A lot playing out of his skin. He's usually considered the outlier on this. It's always the duo, Metza and Magnus. And I've spoke to a lot. It does grind away at him a little bit. He wants the credit. Here is the credit. He played phenomenal. Look at that shot. You do not hit it more perfect than that. Gets the goals he deserves. Came out as our European MVP. And to be honest, if he keeps playing like that with the rest of the team, they are a serious threat. And going back to Flipside Tactics, seeing those 2 squads coming up, Frontline and Method, playing as good as they are, we've only got 4 spots for the World Championships. Now, you'd put Envious and GFE up there. Now you've got to put Frontline and Method up there. We are going to lose some serious talent before we even hit internationals.
Yeah, you can talk about Gale Force, Envious, Method, Frontline, and Flipside. Oh, dear.
Yeah.
That's 5 teams. One of those doesn't get to go. And who's it going to be? At this point, I'm glad you brought up.
come back.
Maka
did not have a bad series.
Like we only saw Maka play 1 game, and it went 5 games against Frontline, who was so hot in week 1. Like I do think it's a good point to bring up that like none of these losses we saw from the big teams, the teams that got upset, were like, what were they doing? Where were they playing? I can't believe they lost. They were close games. Both the Gale Force and the Maka series is going 5 games.
And I think it's got to be big to note. Method sweeping Team Envy.
Yeah.
And it's not like, no matter how bad a world champion team plays, it doesn't matter. Like even a world champion team playing poorly, yes, you can attribute that to them losing a series, but to then still sweep them. And I also really want to know how much PTSD Method and Flipside get when they go against each other soon, because that was hands down like one of the best series I've ever cast in my entire life.
Back from the playoffs of Season 3.
Overtime, the final game to see who qualifies into LAN. Method almost a team to knock out Flipside from even being able to be a contender at LAN. And I know that whenever they go head-to-head, like Method is going to bring everything they've trained for. Was probably just for a rematch for Flipside to show, hey, we should have had that spot, and we're going to have it again this season.
For sure. I'm glad you brought up a lot, because he definitely left a bit to be desired in the play-in. He definitely was missing a lot of open shots. Had a bunch of own goals that were really ugly, so it was really good to see him showing up in a brilliant way and putting up fantastic plays there and fitting in with the roster.
Yep, and I'm just going to fanboy about my region for a second. make sure you are
Expected.
watching everything to do with EU, because it's such a tight group at the very top that every single week, every match, every head-to-head will be important, because I foresee a lot of tiebreaking rules being required to separate these teams at the end of the season.
Yeah, these guys all so close. Cannot wait to see how week 2 shapes up for Europe. But before we get done with our quick chat, with our recap here of how things are going, can't forget about the OCE region. And as always, anytime we talk about OCE, we got to talk to Yummy Cheeseman. So Yummy's going to give us an update here on how things are going over there. Yummy, take it away.
Yummy Cheeseman here. We just had the OCE Championship qualifiers finish, and of course we did see Chiefs and Jam Gaming auto-qualified, but the big thing to note, all of the big 6 teams made it through, and one of the big notable matches of this season was Conspiracy eSports taking down Vinyl Room, made up of 3 really experienced players, to become the first team with 3 rookie players entering RLCS. I hope you give Conspiracy eSports a look throughout this season.
Awesome. Always good to hear from Yummy Cheeseman about OCE. We'll definitely see 2 of those teams that land, and could they perform another upset, defeat some more teams over there, maybe make it a run all the way to the championship. You never know how things are going to go. Moving over to the RLRS for Europe in particular, we had talked about Fibian in North America went 2-0. They were the team that we were expecting to qualify, who got knocked into the rival series. Leftovers, same situation, and for week 1, same results, coming out 2-0. So the 2 teams that we're expecting to see play in the relegation tournament at the end of the year showing up in the ways we're expecting them to.
And looking at all the comments from Reddit and reading a lot of the, reading through Twitch chat during the RLRS, everyone's just like, okay, when are we going to get to see leftovers in the relegation promotion matches? I think everyone just is watching it. They seem to just have a slight class over a lot of the people they're going up against, and I think a lot of that has to do with just the experience of these players. They've been there. They've been at RLCS. They've been competing for so long, and they were able to do so well, just not at the right time. And now they're in the RLRS, but this is their place to prove themselves, and if they can do it, it's just a matter of time before we see them 1 league up.
Yep, we'll get to see those guys compete as this season progresses on. Got to stay in the top 2 to play in the relegation, but right now, Fibian and Leftovers both on course to get there. So this is our recap so far. Got week 2 inbound next week. It's going to be great. Next up, we talked about Method and how great they were. Stop doing that. That's not nice. I'm trying to do it. Method, we're going to have Metanorus on the line. It's going to be great stuff. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.